something seems a little funky. I'm bringing it in. No way this is gonna work. No way. I haven't seen my 240SX in about a month because it's been over at my buddy's shop hiding away ever since I took it to Spirit Peaks for a drift day. And the car did pretty well. The only problem was I couldn't hot lap it because it kept overheating. After about a lap, I'd have to come in, let it cool off, and then go back out again. So I brought the car over to the house. We're gonna make a couple of little modifications and see if we can help with that. And we're kind of already cheating here because it's December and it's about 40 degrees colder than it was on that day. So if I can't get the car to stay cool now, I don't know how else I'll do it. The engine's been making a weird noise down here on the block, and it sounds like it's coming from the water pump. I was a little bit scared that it might be a rod knock at first, but it gets better after the car's warmed up. It kind of goes away. I've got a brand new water pump for it we're gonna install today, and I also have a thermostat. We're just gonna pull that stuff off, see if there's anything broken. Can't hurt to have a brand new one in there anyways. Just gonna let the coolant drain into this drip pan thing. I'll deal with it later. Don't be stupid like me and just put water in your car. Water does a worse job at keeping your car cool. It can also freeze from the low temperatures, and it'll also turn into rust, which is what I noticed last time when I came out from the drift track. All my water had turned this nasty brown color, so I put some radiator flush in there. That's what you're seeing right now. We're gonna fill it back up with the proper coolant, and we're also gonna add some Royal Purple ice, which should help it stay even cooler. The water neck and the thermostat seem totally fine. I'm not even gonna bother testing this thing because I've got a brand new OEM one ready to go. I did, however, notice the bleeder hole was clocked wrong, which isn't a huge deal, but it definitely helps to have this thing facing the right direction. It helps air get out of the system when you're trying to fill the radiator with fluid and not get any bubbles trapped. So that's supposed to go upwards. We'll make sure we do that. That was totally my bad when I built the motor 5-6 years ago. I didn't even know about that, so we'll make sure it's correct this time. People always seem to appreciate how clean and simple the engine bays are on my car, and it's not just for looks, it also makes the cars a lot easier to work on. I like to keep everything as minimal as possible. Getting this water pump off will be as simple as just loosening up the alternator, getting that belt off, and then pulling 5 bolts. We'll be on to the next thing. Dang it, I was hoping this water pump was gonna be all messed up, like maybe have a bent impeller or maybe some shaft play, but it seems just fine. It's just a little bit crusty, so we're gonna have to get a little bit more serious. I did fire the car up for about 10 seconds and I didn't hear the rattling noise, so maybe it was this thing, but the next step after we get the new water pump in is to get rid of these crappy fans. None of my videos are tutorials, but I do like to share little tips and tricks about things like this gasket maker. I like to tighten the part by hand and then let it dry for about an hour. That way it can kind of seep into all the little cracks and everything, and when you tighten it down for the final time, you're not squeezing all the silicone out. As soon as I started having overheating problems on the SR20, everyone recommended going back to the stock clutch fan, and I don't want to do that, so they said the other option was to get some SPAL electric fans. Get rid of that cheap crap that's in there now. These ones are made in Italy. Bellissimo. These look like they have identical mounting brackets, so they should be pretty easy to swap out, and that silicone is gonna be dry soon, so I'm gonna torque up the water pump and that water neck, fill the car back up with coolant, and then we'll get it up to temp, and maybe do like a side-by-side comparison where I install one of them and see if I can tell the difference between the two. We'll see if it's even noticeable. Like I was saying, a younger version of myself built this car, and I'm always finding little things I can improve on, like putting riv nuts on the fan shroud. This will make it so I can bolt these fans back on here without having to hold the nut on the back. Just makes it a lot easier and seamless, you know. I won't be taking the fans on and off, hopefully, very often, but it's just a better solution. The first thing I noticed about these two fans is the new one seems to be a lot heavier and this motor area is a lot bigger, so I'm assuming this thing's gonna spin faster, hopefully. It's also got a different blade design, which is cool. I guess this is just newer fan blade technology, so hopefully that really sucks or pulls, one of the two. I don't have a way of measuring the CFM, but I put the new and the old fans back on the fan shroud. Let's see if we can feel a difference. All right, I mean, that one's going pretty quick. I'm excited to see if this SPAL one can do better, so I'll flip this thing around. All right, here's a new one. That thing's definitely ripping. It sounds faster. There's really only one way to find out, and that'll be on Sunday. The new fans are installed, the alternator belt is nice and tight, and I've got the radiator full of coolant. I'm not gonna test the car right now because it's a little bit late at night. I don't wanna fire it up in the garage, so tomorrow we'll do that. Now that a lot of the high priority stuff is wrapped up, I'm gonna start moving on to some of the more medium priority things. My dad, who usually helps me trailer the car, asked me to get a tow hook for it, and I bought this one from Black Hawk Japan. It's pretty cool, except for I really don't like orange. It's Saturday, so we're going drifting tomorrow. The weather's supposed to be nice, so I'm really looking forward to that. The car can pretty much go at this point. I mean, we just need to bleed some air out of the radiator and test those fans, put that tow hook on, and then if we have time, I wanna see if I can fix a couple things of fiberglass on the bumper and the side skirt. They got a little bit damaged, and if you let them go too far and like a big piece breaks off on track, somebody might run it over, and we don't want that. I think they call this a cooling system funnel, and it's the best. Not only is it really satisfying to watch, but it does a really good job of getting all the air out. As the engine naturally purges it all, the water will get sucked in through the funnel, and you'll know for sure that your cooling system is nice and full. The car sucked down a bunch more water and the fans are turning on, so that's great. It doesn't seem like they're running for as long as they used to, so hopefully that means they're more efficient. They definitely felt like they were pushing more air. That should help us at the track tomorrow. Next, I can install this tow hook that I'm excited about now that it's red. We're gonna have to clearance the bumper a tiny bit, but that's all right. I spent the extra money to get a nice tow hook that's tested and well designed, and based on the website photos, I thought it was red. Clearly that wasn't the case. This thing installs really easily. There's pre-existing bolt holes down here that you just go through and clamp onto the frame, and then you just gotta clearance the bumper right here. This tow hook is bolted onto a pretty thin piece of steel, and a lot of tow hooks, come to find out, aren't meant to be pulled sideways. This is called the shear strength. Whenever towing a car, if you have to pull it sideways, you want to grab onto something really big. This is really just for convenience to pull the car this way. If a guy tries to roll up on you at the track when you're in the ditch, don't let them grab onto something that's just going to snap off. I'm no pro at fiberglassing, but it's not too hard to do a decent job. This is the little piece that holds the bumper onto the fender and kind of keeps it from wobbling around. These Car Modify Wonder Glare kits are not very thick, and I've had a lot of issues with mine breaking. This is the 4th time I'm fixing this bumper, but the nice thing is the more fiberglass you get on it as you repair it, it gets thicker and thicker and harder to break, so eventually stuff just kind of stops breaking, but we're not quite there yet. I like to start off by smoothing this down a bit. It's basically like a weave that you're never gonna get put back together, so it's easier to start with a flat surface, and then we're basically just gonna tape it back together and fill it in with fiberglass. You can see there's also some stress fractures along here where the bumper looks like it's about to break. If you can catch those before they actually do, it's a lot easier to fix. There's also a couple on the other side that I'm gonna fix as well. I usually just buy the automotive store brand fiberglass kits, but I decided to try something new this time. This is for boats, and I think it's pretty much the same thing. What's nice is they include these pumps, and so you just do 1 pump of resin, 1 pump of hardener, mix it together, and you're on your way. So hopefully that'll make it a bit more streamlined, a bit less of a mess. And I also got the fast hardener, which hopefully means we won't be standing around all day waiting for it to harden. It's only about 50 degrees in my garage, so I want to get this knocked out as quickly as possible. Hopefully it doesn't harden in 10 seconds. I was getting a little bit worried because this fiberglass cloth is really thick and it kind of had some memory to it. It wasn't really soaking in the resin and laying down like it's supposed to. It's also really cold in here because I had the garage door open, so I think that has a lot to do with it. As soon as I started hitting it with a heat gun, it got a lot happier, and now it's starting to look much better. So the next thing we need to do is fix this side skirt. This chunk got like caught on my tire or something when I was at full lock and just about ripped the whole thing off. So need to fix that. It's been a few hours, the fiberglass is dry, and I gotta say I'm pretty impressed by how this all went. That thick fiberglass material did a really good job making the side skirt and the bumper feel really strong. It's gonna take a lot to break that again. And most of all, this resin was awesome. It doesn't smell like anything, which was pretty crazy to me. All the other fiberglass resins I've ever used were really stinky. It stinks up the garage and the house and everything, and I love the little pump thing. It was really cool, made it very convenient to measure out. We're gonna get the side skirt back on the car. I'm gonna leave the bumper off for now so we can get it on the trailer, but I'm gonna get my tools together. I'm gonna grab some spare tires off the top of the rack, and tomorrow at 7 a.m., we're gonna send it. We just pulled the car out of the garage. I know it's the winter solstice, but I don't think we left this early last time, so we're definitely a little ahead of schedule, which is nice for once. I'm gonna grab the wheels off the wall here in case we burn up the tires, which would be great. If I can do that much drifting, I'll be pretty happy. All right, we're heading out. It's about 40 minutes to get the car all trailered up and everything. We've got a remote camera watching the trailer, which is nice. While we're driving, we know it's in good company, safe and sound. Our new wheel rack is looking good. Hour and a half and we'll be up there. It looks like there is a ton of people here today. I wasn't expecting it to be so busy, but that'll be fun. Gonna see a lot of drifting. Got myself a Spirit Peak sticker, and we're gonna unload the car, take it over to tech, and it should be good. Driver's meeting's in like 20 minutes. What's up, bro?
Well, we made it. Sure, it's foggy. Where's that smoke?
We'll see. It's literally freezing out here. There's ice on the ground. So if my car overheats in this weather, we definitely got problems. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun day. Driver meeting's complete, car is prepped, it's all ready to go. It looks really slippery out there. It's still a little wet and it's freezing cold. So first couple laps, I'm gonna take it really easy, but as soon as I'm comfortable, I'm gonna start just pushing hard and trying to learn and, you know, increasing my speeds and my drift angle. So we'll see how it goes. All right, here goes nothing. It's a bit grippier than I expected, which is nice, but definitely some patchy areas. There's still some standing water around. Sliding off the track while you're in drift. We need to find a way to fix that. I'm bringing it in. I think there's too much air in the tires. So I usually run about 40 PSI in the tires since they're stretched quite a bit to keep them from debeating, and I think that's causing a lot of the understeer. I decided to drop them down to 25, so hopefully that helps. Oh yeah, this is a lot better, a lot less understeer now. The car feels much more controllable, especially because the track is starting to dry off, so speeds are increasing. It's still a little bit slick out here. I think I might just skip drifting these last 4 corners for a while. I think think a boost tube or something popped off. I heard a funny noise. All right, something seems a little funky. I'm bringing it in. I just went out there and took the car for probably 4 laps, just really beating on it, and I eventually got it hot, but it cooled off really fast. As soon as I stopped driving, it cooled down almost immediately. I was at the point where I was basically getting winded, you know, from wheeling the car for 4 laps straight, so that's great. I'm really happy with that. Just like how it always is, right when you're having a really good time though, I broke something. This boost tube just blew out right by the turbo. It's probably because it's getting really hot down here where the exhaust manifold is, and I don't know if anybody else has had issues like this before, because I thought people just sent it exactly like this. I don't think we're gonna be able to fix this. We're gonna try putting like some duct tape and stuff over it and see, maybe it'll make it a lap or 2, but it'll be fun to find out. Who knows how long it's been waiting to do that. Thing's 5 or 6 years old. So Sparky's gonna see if he can tape this thing. It doesn't look great. I mean, 15 pounds is a lot. It doesn't sound like much, but we'll see. Even if it holds some of it, I just need enough power to drift, that's all. But I was definitely pushing this car on limiter and having a really good time, so I'm not surprised, you know, something finally broke. And luckily it's something really, really cheap. I think these things are only like 30 bucks, so it might be a good idea to, obviously we're gonna replace this, get a spare, and then I'll probably build a little heat shield right here. Might be a cool idea to keep the heat from, you know, getting that thing so hot. Things tend to fail when they get hot.
All right, here I am. I'm the test me for this ride along. I did all the work on the repair, so if the repair don't work, it's all your fault.
I think the tube blew up as soon as I clutch kicked it. All right, I'll hop out real quick and just inspect it, just to make sure there's nothing hanging down or something. I forgot to tighten the intercooler one. Oh, jeez.
Oh, so did you get repaired?
Yeah, so it did pop off, but it was the intercooler one. That boost tube held for. It seems like it blew up, but I was still driving. We did 3 or 4 laps and it felt really good, honestly. I don't know if the car is still making like decent power. I looked down at one point, it was making 5 pounds of boost, but I wasn't at full throttle, so I have no idea. I'm just gonna keep going as long as I can drift, and if it comes to the point where the car won't get sideways anymore, we'll stop. We got a bunch of blow by, the valve cover is leaking again, which sucks, but we'll just have to figure that out later. Well, we finally managed to kill a set of tires. About dang time. I was gonna go out there until the things were fully corded, but the problem is if you let the tires go all the way down, you know, it's fun to hit them at the cords, but they blow up and then it takes out the whole quarter panel and destroys your car, which kind of sucks. These tires are pretty old, so they're probably not gonna be very grippy, which should help us out if we're down on power. Connected that straight, yeah! The car was only making about 5 pounds of boost, and when I took off from the line, I literally thought something was broken because I just got wheel spin so quickly, it felt like I was just sitting there like on ice. Those tires are probably 10 years old that are on those Basureyas, and there's not much meat left on them, but it actually turned out to be perfect because that boost tube just continued to fail and my car was only making 1 PSI. So I was basically drifting the track naturally aspirated, and I was actually surprised how fast the car felt. I mean, it's not ripping, but with this kind of damp, cold track today and those crappy tires, I was actually getting a lot of slip angle, and I mean, my dad said I was making smoke. I haven't seen the footage yet, but I gotta be honest, the last 2 laps I had where the car was disabled is when I had the most fun. Now I totally get, you know, the Miata guys that say you don't need that much power. You don't need, you know, you should learn how to drift on like 150 horsepower. And it just made it simpler and easier.
I want to go faster though. So we're gonna get this thing fixed and we're gonna try to do some third gear drifts. You know, I was so happy that I linked that back corner. That straightaway felt so good, and you just really gotta rip on it. You just gotta stay in the throttle, but having such a good time. I'm glad the car sort of held together and that we're getting some drifting done here. There's an hour left of the open drift, and I was gonna take the car out for one more session, but I took a look at the boost tube and it's like destroyed. Completely ripped off the turbo. There's no air from the turbo going in it whatsoever, which means the engine is just sucking completely hot, unfiltered air from underneath, which isn't a good thing. And then I walk over here and see the tire's flat. There's a nail in my front tire, so I think it's probably a sign for us to call it a day. It's been a lot of fun, but I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to get something to eat.
The car made it back in mostly one piece. You know, we busted a couple little pieces of fiberglass here and there, got a nail in the tire, so I'll get all that fixed up. I'm really happy with how things went today. I learned a lot, got a lot of good seat time. Finally got the car to hot lap, and we're gonna have to see how it is in the summertime when it's 90 degrees out, if I can still keep those engine temps down. But it seemed like the 1 or 2 times that I actually got it, you know, up to 230, 240 degrees, as soon as I just, you know, stopped drifting, it came back down right away. So I think those new SPAL fans are doing a really good job. Huge shout out to my dad for helping me so much. If you guys notice, like, he's the one that's always loading the car on and off the trailer, helping me like tie it down and make sure everything is set. He was a truck driver for a while. He's always known a lot about car trailers and things, so he likes doing that stuff, and I'm so appreciative that he's out there helping me. But big shout out to Spirit Peaks as well. You guys are awesome. I wish the parking lot wasn't so muddy, but that's a pretty small thing to dislike. So really love how the car is. We got some plans for it in the future here, so we might not be out on track soon. We'll get that all figured out. Gonna do a different transmission in it, and I'm really excited for that. But other than that, check your polarizer. We'll be back at it soon.
Getting closer by the step, feels like it's just getting started.